For the past 6 days, I've attempted to survive Donald Trump's daily routine. It's been a very wild ride, from waking up early in the morning at 5:30 to going to bed past midnight. From getting breakfast at McDonald's to going through the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A and saying your name is Donald.
Yes, Donald.
From literally getting sick and feeling better the next day within 12 hours. From making phone calls and writing constant emails. Well, today is day 7, the final boss. All I have is 24 hours left. Watch and find out. Day 7 at 7 a.m. Now the first thing I had to do on day 7 was get a fresh cut because today I was being inaugurated and I'm signing a few executive orders later in the video. Now I didn't record myself having a fresh cut, but yes, I did do it myself at my house. And I just gave myself a shave off to the sides, not a fade or anything. Now I was going to make my hairstyle like Donald Trump's, but first of all, it wasn't really long enough, and second of all, I didn't want to look like Donald Trump after this challenge because I'm tired of being Donald Trump and I'm ready to end this challenge. I'm ready to be myself again because I don't envy Donald Trump in any way. But the problem is I still have an entire day to live in his routine and then things can go back to normal. And at this point, I've been so sleep deprived that I've just felt numb. So being tired today wasn't as bad as other days, but I'm wondering if it was concerning that I was numb. If you've been following the Trump series, you know that I usually start off the day by reading the news or watching the TV. But today's a little different. Today I'm going to sign executive orders that pertain to you specifically. But before I did that, breakfast was first. This morning's breakfast was probably the best one of the series because I had quiche, bacon, and biscuits with gravy, which are 3 of my favorite foods, but all in one breakfast. Now in my weeks of research, I couldn't find any news if Trump liked biscuits and gravy, quiche, or bacon, but I could find that he did like bacon, so that would probably be his favorite part of the breakfast. And right after breakfast was done, it was time to be inaugurated and to sign a few executive orders. But first I had to get ready. Now believe it or not, the first thing I did to get ready was get out of my fancy shoes, change to Crocs because dressy shoes are very uncomfortable if you wear them for a week straight. And the next thing I did was set up my tripod, phone, and audio system to pick up me writing executive orders. Now before I sign this bill as president, let me read it for all you at home. All individuals currently watching the video are hereby required to click the subscribe button to remain informed on future content releases. All viewers must immediately press the like button to demonstrate their unwavering support to this channel. To ensure the expansion of growing the channel, viewers are strongly encouraged to share the Trump series with friends and family. Failure to comply with this executive order may result in extreme FOMO, or fear of missing out, and potential regret over missing legendary content. Failure to comply with this executive order may result in extreme FOMO, the fear of missing out, and potential regret over missing legendary content. The executive order is now law. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share with your friends and family if you don't want FOMO. And now that I'm quote-unquote president and I've signed my official documents, it was time to continue with Trump's routine, with checking out the news and then eating lunch. Now if you haven't been following the Trump series, let me tell you about one of Trump's main hobbies, and that is watching the news. When he wakes up and during meals, he watches the news consistently. And he especially likes the news about him because if he doesn't agree with something, he'll go on a social media platform like X and comment about it. I think it's safe to say that he's addicted to watching the TV. But after I was done watching the news, the sleepiness was starting to come back, so I had to remind myself that I had just one day left. One more day. The thought of completing the challenge is really what kept me going, so that was my main source of motivation. But another source of motivation is that I would be doing something different, and that is eating lunch. And when I mean different, I'll be eating something completely different, which Trump doesn't usually eat. Trump only eats this food on occasion, when his private health doctors and officials say he's been eating too much junk. One time, Trump even drank 12 cans of Diet Coke in one day. So eating something a little different was way healthier for him, and healthier for me too, because I've eaten junk all week long. So the food I ended up eating for lunch was salad. And let me tell you something, I'm not a person that usually likes salad, but after eating what I ate, it was delicious. I didn't even put any sauces on it or dressings at all. So I think Trump and I are similar that way, that we both don't like eating salad, but we will when we have to. And once I finished lunch, I went straight back to the news in the form of reading it in a newspaper. The newspaper I picked up was one that I'd actually been reading the day before. And I can really see why Trump likes to read the news so much, because you literally can read about yourself. I mean, I saw Trump's name at least 5 times when I was reading. But what made it less entertaining for me is that I wasn't in the news. So that was a little sad, because I would love to see my name in the newspaper, but at the same time, I don't know if that would exactly be a good thing. But anyways, once I finished catching myself up on the news and stuff that honestly in my opinion wasn't very important, I went straight to writing emails to a bunch of different people, asking them how they were doing, and I actually caught up with a lot of friends that I hadn't talked with for a while. And once Trump gets all his responsibilities out of the way, his favorite part of the day comes, and that is eating ice cream and watching college football. I really enjoyed eating ice cream and watching college football, but most importantly eating ice cream because I'm not as big as a football freak as Donald Trump is. But for those college football freaks who are out there, I watched the highlights between Ohio State and Notre Dame in the championship. And after enjoying ice cream and watching college football highlights, I kept the TV on so I could stay informed on the news. And once that was finished, I wasn't feeling well at all. So I just hopped on the computer, chatted with friends, and watched YouTube videos. And of course, I had to write a few emails because that's what Trump does. And at this point, it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, less than 8 hours to go. And the time really flew when I watched video after video after video. All of a sudden, it was 6 o'clock. And that meant it was dinner time, and I ended up having pizza for dinner, which is leftovers of what I had a previous night. And so I heated up 2 pieces of pizza, and that was my dinner. And I'm starting to feel guilty eating all this junk food because I've gained 4.3 pounds in the past 6 days. And surprisingly, I don't know how Trump stays relatively thin after all the stuff that he eats. Or maybe it's just that I get fat easily. And after dinner for dessert, I had some cinnamon buns, which were hands down the greatest thing I ate all week long. I was going to have them for breakfast, but I instead had them for dessert because I would have eaten too much for breakfast, and that's not good. And after the last dinner of the Trump series, I hopped on the computer and responded to emails which I had sent out earlier that day. Then I watched the evening news, and after that, it was around 9 o'clock at night. And guess who was on the news? The one and only Donald Trump. And funny enough, I've been following the news all week, and the most that's on the news is literally Donald Trump. But that was my last time watching the news, and I was so happy about that, and I'm not going to miss hearing about the news or reading about it or watching it again. 1 hour left in the challenge before I go to bed. But I was so tired I literally couldn't wait that long. I literally can't do this any longer. Oh my gosh. So it was time to go to bed. And I think it's safe to say that I've completed a week in the life of Donald Trump. But during the day I was actually recording day 7. I was too tired to share what I've learned from the week and reflect on it. So I did that after the challenge, which is the clip you're about to see right now. Wow, 7 days come and gone. Just like that. It's crazy to think that this challenge is already over. I'm glad I did this challenge because I think it's made me a better person for these reasons. I procrastinate less, I'm more responsible, and I don't waste my time as much as I did before this challenge. So although I've been sleep deprived this week, I think this week has taught me an important lesson. The things that I've learned in this past week have become habits, and the responsibility I learned is now carrying into this next week, where I'm not doing the Trump series, but just me and my personal life. I don't envy Donald Trump in any way, but there are certain aspects to his daily routine which I appreciate because they've helped me in my life. But getting 3 to 5 hours a night is not healthy, so don't be doing that. And Donald Trump's daily routine is a lot like a dream. It'll sit around, rot, and fade away unless you take responsibility, take ownership, pick it up, and do something about it and become a better person. Okay, time to sleep now.